This tutorial is going to go over the basics of CorelDRAW and give you an overview of all of the tools. The first tool is the Pick tool. It's the top one on your toolbar. And what this tool allows you to do is select objects and move them around by just clicking and dragging. And then also you see these black squares around the outside of your image. You can click and drag one of the corner ones to make your image bigger or smaller. If you click and drag one of the middle ones, you can skew your image, kind of make it taller, or you can make your image wider. And then if you click once again on the image, it changes your options to rotate and skew options, and if you turn the corner of it, you can rotate your image. And then if you click and drag one of the middle parts, you can skew your image. And if you don't like what you've done, all you have to do is press Ctrl Z on your keyboard, and it'll do it as many times as you've done moves. You can also find that under Edit, Undo. The next tool is the Shape tool. And this tool allows you to manipulate nodes on an image. So the little squares on the vector image itself, that's what this tool lets you do, is to move those around, adjust them. You can add nodes by double clicking on the line. You can delete nodes by doing the same thing. If you want to manipulate nodes, kind of recurve things on one of Action Illustrated's images, most likely you're going to have to ungroup it first. So you're going to go back to your Pick tool, going to select the image, ungroup it, and then you can go in here with your Shape tool and manipulate these nodes. The next tool is the Zoom tool, and you've noticed how I haven't clicked on this tool yet I've had the ability to zoom in and out on my page. I use the middle mouse scroller to zoom in and out. It's a little bit faster than clicking on the Zoom tool itself, but you can always use that as well. So you click on what looks like a magnifying glass, and if you click, it'll zoom in. If you hold down Shift on your keyboard, it changes it to a minus sign and you can zoom out. Also, if you lose track of where your image is on your screen, simply double click on the magnifying glass, the Zoom tool, and it'll show you all of what you're working with on that page. The next tool is a couple tools that give you different shapes. One of them is the rectangle tool, which obviously makes a rectangle. If you want to make a perfect square, simply hold down Control and then click and drag, and then you'll get a perfect square. The next is the ellipse tool, and the same thing. If you want a perfect circle, just hold down Control and then click. Otherwise, you can just make an ellipse like so. The next tool is the polygon tool. Allows you to make a polygon. You can change the sides, however many sides it has, by changing the number up here. In older versions of Corel, you use the polygon tool to make a star. In newer versions of Corel, they actually have a star tool hidden underneath of the polygon that you can make a star. The next are various shapes, and you can click up here to choose a particular shape to make. The next tool is one that you're going to be using a lot, which is the Text tool. Looks like a big A. Click on that tool, and then just click once on your screen, and then you can go ahead and type a word. And then once you've typed what you want, go ahead and go back to the pick tool, puts the black squares around your image here. You can now go up to the top here and change your font, and you can also change the size. You can also change the size by just clicking and dragging from one of the black squares on the word itself. And also you can rotate by clicking once again on it and then rotating. The next tool that you may use is the drop shadow tool. It's hidden underneath the blend tool. You might see this icon. If you click and hold, then you can go to the drop shadow tool. And then if you want to add a drop shadow to something, like say this word, you would just click and drag from the word towards the side. And then you can use these little squares here to adjust the shadow however you like, coming from the center or the side, how far away from the word it is. And then if you want that drop shadow to print as a separation with the word, you're going to want to make sure that your word is Pantone black or whatever color you choose. And you're going to want to make sure that that drop shadow, that you click on other, and that you choose Pantone black. That way it prints as a separation. In older versions of Corel Draw, the drop shadow tool does not allow you to print it as a separation. You should just keep that in mind. I believe it's just X3 and X4 that allow that. The next tool that you might be using is also underneath of the interactive blend tool, and it's called the envelope tool, the interactive envelope tool. And we're actually going to just go undo. Going to undo a few times until we don't have the shadow and we have the text straight. And then click on your interactive envelope tool, click on your object, and you'll notice it has a dotted rectangle around the word tigers now. And then you'll notice at the top in this gray area, it's going to show you the different tools you have. Depending on your version of Corel, any of the tools you see in this gray area may have the word or the icon. You're going to click on the single arc mode. What this allows you to do is curve the text in a single arc, and you can hit Ctrl-Z to undo it. And then another option is if you hold down Control and then you click and drag from the center nodes here, it'll move both the top and the bottom uniformly for you. And then another option with the interactive blend tool is the straight mode. And if you click on that, then you can just adjust it like so in a straight line mode rather than a curve. The next tool that you may be using is the eyedropper tool. The eyedropper tool works along with the paint bucket tool. So what you'll do is if you want to use this blue, say, you would click once on the blue, and then it sees that blue, it remembers it, and then if you hold down Shift on your keyboard, it changes to the paint bucket tool, and you can just hover over an area that you want to make that blue and click once and it changes it. The next tool is the outline tool, and you'll be using that mostly on text itself. So if you click on the word, then click on the outline pen, it brings up a window to add an outline color. So we're gonna change it to like an outline of 4 and change it to red so we can see it. and you can adjust the corners, how the corners are going to be. And I always hit scale with image and behind fill. And that adds an outline to a word, or you can do an outline on a shape. You can find that outline also if you click on a shape or a word, double click on the square in the either bottom right corner or top right corner. And it brings that up the same window, the outline pen window. Then you can choose a color. You can choose a width. Hit OK. You can take this outline, if you like this outline and you want to apply the same outline to multiple objects, select the image, right click and drag towards an object that you want to change. Let go and click copy outline here. And it takes that exact same outline and applies it to another object. The next tool is the fill tool, which you could be using from time to time. The first option, the uniform fill, is just another way to change colors. Instead of using the palette on the side, you can use the colors in here by clicking uniform fill. The second part is the fountain fill, which allows you to add a faded fill to an object. And you can choose colors accordingly, and it adds a faded fill to that particular object. You can adjust that gradient by changing the angle here, or also if you use the last tool, which is the interactive fill tool. If you have an older version of Corel, this tool may be hidden underneath of another tool. And this interactive fill tool allows you to just take the gradient and move it however you'd like to move it. It's just a faster way of adjusting the gradient. Those are the main tools that you'll find in Corel that you'll be using on a regular basis. Another one I want to mention is I'm going to go ahead and select all of this tiger by clicking a square around it using the pick tool. I'm going to hit group so that I can just move it all at once real easily. And then I have some other options up here. One is mirror horizontally, mirror vertically, so I can flip my tiger if I want it to be facing the other direction. Another option that you may need in the future is, say I want to take this tiger and this word tigers and I want them to be centered. Instead of trying to center it and eyeball it, what I can do is if I click on the word tigers, hold down shift and then click on the tiger itself, I can go under arrange, align and distribute, and then I can click this center button and hit apply, and it centers it for me. Again, if I wanted to center these two objects, I'm going to click on the heart and then shift click on the ellipse, go into arrange, align and distribute, center, and I can even do the other center as well. And then that way it's exactly centered with the other object. One more thing I want to cover is moving objects behind or in front of each other. Say this tiger's word is behind the tiger and I really want it to be in front of the tiger. What I can do is I can go to arrange, order, and I can say to front of page or to front. But another way that I can do that is if you click on the word itself, hold down Control on your keyboard, and then press page up, and that's going to bring it above another object. If you hold down Shift page up, it's going to bring it above everything else. If you hold down Shift page down, it's going to bring it behind everything else. If you hold down Control page up, it's going to bring it up one. If you hold down Control page down, it's going to bring it down one. So that's how you pull things in front or below other objects.